Hey guys, so this video is going to be for the people who farmed up a bunch of gray mods or whatever, sliced them up, got to gold, and then the mods themselves were good enough to not just sell or get rid of right away, but not great enough to immediately 6 dot and potentially go further. I'm going to show you where I draw the line, what I look for, things like that. I'm going to ignore the arrows for obvious reasons. Arrows are their own separate thing. And then, as you could see, my unassigned gold mods, decent amount. Probably going to be in more detail as we start. And then towards the end, when I go through each one, it's going to be pretty streamlined. Hopefully you'll see what I see and know what I would do without talking about it. But I got the mod sorted by speed, since speed is, especially in early and mid game, the most important thing to look for. So gonna ignore the arrows and the 6 dot mods already. Look at this one. So 15 speed, amazing speed right there. Most people would 6 dot that right away, and you technically wouldn't be wrong. It would help your mod score, but out of every possible primary, crit chance is probably one of the few, especially with health mods, which are so versatile, that it's really hard to find a home for. So, since, just off the top of my head, like Jyn Erso, I think, gets special abilities, like if she gets a guaranteed crit. Not Asajj, Ayla Sakura, I think if she crits, she stuns on one ability. So things like that. But since I already have mods on tunes like that, if you can't think of a tune that this could work on, even with 15 speed, I'm in no rush to do this. I'm sure at some point I will, so I'm not going to sell it. But yeah. Next one. So, health, offense primary, 100% of the time, don't need to worry about that. 14 speed, 6-dotting it will bump it to 15, which will boost your mod score. It rolled defense 3 times, which with health, if you put it on our tank, defense isn't horrible. I'm not a big defense fan. And then a little tenacity and potency. It is all percentage outside of speed, which is what you want to look for when you 6-dot a mod. Because 6-dot mods goes on relic characters. The higher the relic, the more stats. The more stats, the better the percentage does. Because if you have a bigger stat pool, the better percent will lift it. So, is this worth 6-dotting? Yes. But if you're limited on resources, nothing jumps out at me at this mod. Health mods are the most abundant in this game. Nothing super special, so I'm going to leave it where it is. So this is a defense mod. Defense, later in the game, there are a few tunes, especially in territory battle, where defense sets are key. If you're mid-game, things like Sith Empire Trooper, First Order Trooper, Stormtrooper, if you got them relic, mine's still just Gear 12. They do well with defense. If you're farming tunes or missing mods for some tanks and you want to do a defense set, yeah, sure. You got some flat protection, a little flat defense, decent speed. Thing with defense, though, is usually they're on like hardcore tanks. Hardcore tanks don't typically need to make many turns. They just need to be there and not die for a while. Nothing jumps out at me at this. 14 speed though, not going to sell it. I'm sure at some point I'll need this. Crit chance. So crit chance, it's a square, so automatically offense percent. 14 speed will go to 15. 2 percentage amplifiers, which is always good. Little flat offense. This, if I need something with crit chance, if you watch some of my other videos, you know I'm not a big crit chance, crit damage guy. More of an offense guy personally. I find it more versatile. Crit chance, I think of bounty hunters, things like that. If you're doing Jabba, I know he just had his, what was it, Lightspeed bundle. So if you need some crit chance on one of those tunes, this would be a good one. Potency, if you actually think about it, bounty hunters with crit chance, they do apply a decent amount of debuffs, so potency is pretty good. This is worth a jump to 6 dot. Again, nothing super jumps out at me. Nothing. I wouldn't do it right away unless there was a tune I was farming that I knew I was going to need crit chance for. Offense. So, I just made a video somewhat addressing on it, but offense and crit damage require 4 to make a set. To get really good S tier, especially because so many tunes need offense, you have to be very picky about it. So, 14 speed is great. Primary is only health or offense. Usually it's fairly interchangeable. One roll of flat offense at 28. If you are doing an offense set and using 4 of your 6 mod slots for offense, you want some fucking offense, which means percent. If it's not percent offense, that thing better be 17 plus speed before you 6 dot it, in my opinion. Maybe I got some Gear 12 tune that's not going to be relic for a while. I could throw this on. Anything 14 speed with gold, I ain't going to get rid of unless it's really god awful. I'm going to leave it where it is. So, health and offense go hand in hand. So a health with an offense primary is king, especially with a good speed amount. Double protection, if you're doing health offense, that's probably not important. But if there's going to be secondaries, you got 2% ones, which is always better. So this one I'm actually going to 6 dot right away. And unless it's an arrow, if you 6 dot a mod and it doesn't already have 5 speed sliced, always best to at least do a first one. Percent protection, that's probably the second best one we could have gotten of that. Leave it as is. All right, this video is already getting to be 8 minutes, so I'm going to start speeding up a little. Check out the ones I have locked. So, you may look at this, and it actually is a pretty good mod. If you're looking at a health set with some kind of tank, if they need protection, you got good speed, percent protection, then you got 2 rolls of percent health. Even if it's a tank that does better with protection, health, always a good thing to have. A little percent defense, tank, sure, that goes great. And flat health. So all 4 of these secondaries go great together with a decent amount of tunes. Health and protection, you could always find a home for. The only holdup is protection. I think it's worth it to 6 dot, but I'll just show you. So 23.5%, 6 dotting it, woohoo, it goes to 24%. So if you're doing protection primaries, the secondaries are way more important because you won't get that big a boost. Like health goes from 6 to 16%. Offense goes 5.8 to 8.5. Protection, horrible upgrade. This is going to take forever. I'll start scrolling down some. Tenacity, haven't done one of those. So, if you're needing tenacity and doing a tenacity set, the cross has a tenacity primary. So even though this is 13 speed, health and protection, which probably goes well with tenacity depending on the tune, it's a defense primary. Now, could you possibly find a home for it and it not be super bad? Yes, but if you're doing tenacity, same thing with potency set. The cross is probably the most important mod in the game because it's so versatile. So tenacity, if it's not a tenacity primary, it's a lower tier mod regardless of speed. Same thing with potency. Offense, you want offense. Health, since health is pretty much an add-on with so many characters, health, you have a little more leeway. This one actually, even though it's 13 speed, is close enough that I would think about selling it because tenacity and defense, I can't think of a tune that needs it. So it's pretty much just taking up space now. Let's scroll. Let's do a potency to give you an idea. So 12 speed on the lower end of what you want for a gold mod, unless it's for attacker that assists or a tank that doesn't need to take turns. You got percent defense, percent tenacity. If it was going on a tank, sure. But if it's potency, chances are it's not a tank. I'm actually going to go ahead and sell this mod, even though it's 12 speed. Now, if you're early in the game, potency 12 speed, you don't need to look at the secondaries as much. You could keep it. But once you get to like 8-9 million GP, you really need to start thinking about mods in a more conservative way, I guess I could say. Let's look at a couple healths because health is so versatile. So this is kind of like the one I just 6-dotted a minute ago. You got protection, decent speed. All the secondaries go with a tank type character. The thing that holds me up with most protection mods, like I said, it only goes from 23.5 to 24% when you 6-dot it. Now the secondaries get a better boost, but if this was like a health primary, it would be 5.88%, I think is what it is. Health, if you 6-dot it, that jumps to 16. So a health on health mod, way more reasonable to 6-dot over protection. So this one I'm probably going to hold off on. It also helps that I have a decent health protection mod already, so not too worried about it. So like this next one, all the secondaries go well with a tank, even though there's 2 flat and 1%, and this one has 2%. Because this is health, look at this big jump that health gets. It almost triples. Always a better thing. And then always do it again. And of course we get flat health, probably the least good one we would want with this mod, as is tradition. Which is why it's always great to look at your secondaries. Even though the worst one in that was flat health. Did I want it? No. Does it help the mod? Technically, yes. Alright, we're getting on 13 minutes, guys, so we're going to go to the bottom of the barrel, look at my super low speed mods, and see if we can justify keeping or even 6-dotting them. So, this is a level 1 mod with a accuracy primary arrow. There was a point in time, way back in the day, in the olden days, when Sith Eternal Emperor came out, where you needed Sidious for one of his battles, and an accuracy arrow did help. Ever since then, accuracy arrows do not matter. You should never keep them. I don't care what you roll, in what area. Always sell them right away, which I think this was that as well. So this, sell. Get rid of them. Don't even look at it. If you see it, just sell it right away. So this one, speed mod, and if you're watching this, I'm sure you've seen my other videos, how much I love offense. You have 2 rolls of percent offense, 4 flat offense. You might think, that's pretty good. I may think about it. If you're thinking about offense with a triangle, why wouldn't you get an offense primary? That's 5 something percent. Hold, what is it? Yeah, 5.88% for offense primary. So no matter how good this is, if you need offense, get an offense primary, especially with speed. If you're doing a speed set with 4 mods of your 6, you want fast. Speed, you want speed. Offense, you want offense, things like that. So this one, even though if this was any other mod, like if this was diamond with those things, I would 6-dot it right away. Even if it was speed, I'd make up the speed somewhere else, because no matter what, it's going to be a defense primary. But since you can get an offense primary on the triangle, this one, I'm going to unlock it. No. All right, do a few more at the bottom, and then we'll call it, let's see, this one. So this one may not look like it, but it is actually worth 6-dotting. If you have a toon that assists out of turn, think of Baby Ahsoka, think of Canderous, think of whatever that, what's her name? I think it's Seventh Sister, the healer for the Inquisitor team that assists after every other Inquisitor. They may not need to take turns as often, but since they're always assisting, why wouldn't you want them to hit a little harder? It's free damage. So if you got a toon that attacks out of turn, something like this with percent offense and flat offense, that's what you want. So this one, if I had an abundance of material, this ain't much, you can go through that amount quick, that I would 6-dot. So this, kind of like that triangle, I touched on it before. The percentages are good, but if you're doing a speed set, you want fast. So only 3 speed, you would have to make up so much speed in the other areas, that's probably not worth it. I rolled percent offense 4 times, though. I can't bring myself to sell it. So, things like this. Crit damage, you want crit damage. Offense, offense. Health, health, most of the time. You heard me say it a bunch. So this one, crit damage with crit damage primary. That's so important that you could forgo some speed. So this one may not look like it, but if you got someone that needs crit damage and you can make up the speed somewhere else, it's worth it. Now, if you have a bunch of crit damage on crit damage, go ahead and get rid of it. I don't, because I don't farm crit damage as much. I'm keeping it around. This one, I don't, percent offense is probably why I kept it. Even though it's got some percent offense, it's not that great. I'll check these last 3 that I got bookmarked, and then we'll probably call it. So, if you got a tank that doesn't need to go fast, this is what you want to see. Percent defense, percent health, percent protection. That may be tenacity over defense. I'm not, like I've said, I'm not a huge defense guy. Some toons do benefit from it, but meh. This is what you want. Percent always gets a better boost when you 6-dot it. When it's a relic toon, always benefits more from it. This is what you want. In fact, just take a look. So 3% defense, 1.75 health, 5.3 protection. Just look what happens when I 6-dot it and the kind of boost you get. Some of them, they pretty much double, more or less. Speed only gets a 1 boost. But just think about rolling this 5 more times going to gold. Is there a roll you could get that, even if it's not the one you want, it will benefit you in some way? In fact, even with 6 speed, I'm going to keep going. Got more speed. Beautiful. No matter what I roll, it's going to be useful. 16 speed. And this already amazing mod for any tank. Cool. So I rolled more protection, 11% protection, 16 speed. If you got a toon needs protection, this is an S tier mod. You could calibrate it if you want a little more speed or if you want to try and switch it to health. You don't need to though. You can go either way with it. So many options, such a great mod. Alright. I'm not going to keep holding you guys up. Hopefully you kind of get the idea of what I look for trying to match the mod. Think of a tune. If you can't think of a tune that could benefit from the mod you have, either sell it, or if you think, hey, maybe if I start farming one set of people, this could be useful, then keep it around. Even if it's gold though, guys, never be afraid to sell the mod if you don't think it could have a use later on. But alright, that's it. I think this will probably be my last video till the end of the year when I do my big video. Let me see if I can pull that up. So just my unassigned mods. Let me get this way. Just to give you an idea, guys, everything green and under here, all those gray and all these green already have speed with them, and I'm going to slice them up to see what I get to give you guys an idea of your likelihood of upgrading and getting speed, what to look for early on, things like that. But until that time, take it easy, and I'll see y'all later.